Welcome to Flight Past. My name is Simon. We continue our story today of Wellington's retreat. We looked into the Prussian retreat in the previous sections, and we've got to around about 11 o'clock in the morning, and the British Army and the Dutch Army have now pulled off this battlefield here, leaving the Royal Horse Artillery of Captain Mercer and some hussars as a rear guard in this area. Meanwhile, back over here at the battlefield of Ligny, we believe Napoleon has been ill. He's not been his usual self. He hasn't been his usual energetic self, and he seems to be a bit lethargic. Around about 11 o'clock, so it's quite a long time later on the 17th, he eventually gives his orders to Grouchy, Marshal Grouchy, and he was to command about 33,000 men and told to pursue the Prussians. He had received a report that the Prussians had headed down in this direction towards Namur, and he believed that he essentially had split the Allied armies apart. However, in the night of the 16th, there was a big thunderstorm, rain, darkness, confusion, and what Napoleon didn't do is look to his north in this direction here, and the two corps basically of Ziton and Perch 1 have retreated this way, up there to the north to a town called Wavre. Now, according to the version given by Grouchy, his story was that his orders were to pursue the Prussians, to attack them, to complete their defeat, and not to lose sight of them in any event. The Emperor added that he was about to join Ney to attack the English army, should it make a stand on the southern verge of the forest of Sauniers, and he closed his remarks by directing Grouchy to correspond with him by the lateral road from Nivelles to Namur, which is this road below us. This low road here, which you can see stretching into the distance there, and that's heading west towards Quatre Bras. So far, these two accounts coincide. It's later added, though, that Napoleon said that it was important that Grouchy hold a position between the Prussian army and the main road on which the Emperor was to advance. And Gerard, one of the corps commanders, believes this is the case as well. And it's believed that Napoleon said, press the enemy hard, but above all, always be in contact with me on your left. Now, we know that when Grouchy starts doing his feelers up this road here, he knows that there's a likelihood that some Prussians are headed this way to Namur, but we know that they're just deserters and they're heading that way. And when he gets here, he starts sending out patrols, and the local population say that they believe the Prussians are headed north to Wavre. Thielmann's corps did come here and then managed to escape up the road, this road here. Now, what happens now is a little bit controversial, because I think what happens is that rather than heading this way towards Wavre, Grouchy sends a message to say that he's going to go to a place which was called Sartre-Wallin, which is this village here. And essentially there's a crossroads, and we found it in the previous streams here. This is actually an old crossroads. This means that this is where we find Grouchy gets to on the morning of the 18th of June. And this allows him then, if he has to, either turn to the south or to the north. But he's also, I suppose, in his thinking, he's putting himself between these two Prussian corps, stopping them from linking up. But what it does do is put him a long way away from Napoleon's right flank. And his only option is, if he does push this way back up to Wavre, but he's obviously now got at least 3 corps. In fact, he's going to have 4 corps because Boulou's corps turns up between him now and Waterloo. Okay, so that is the situation for the Grouchy position. Now, we Grouchy would actually later say he wrote a book called Observation sur la campagne de 1815. He remonstrated with with Napoleon, pointed out that the Prussians were far off in retreat, and that they had gained 14 hours upon their pursuers. He says at the time that he said to Napoleon that the French troops at Ligny hadn't expected to march that day. I mean, remember, he's got Van Damme and Gerard's corps, which were in the fighting of the 16th front line, and that they would be delayed, and that therefore he was too far behind the Prussians to chase them. So that's his response to that later on. He would deny that Napoleon had sent him an order sent by Bertrand that was had written in it, "It is important to ascertain what are the enemy's designs. Is he either separating from the English, or both are seeking to reunite to cover Brussels or Liège and try the chances of another battle? You will explore the directions of Namur and of Maastricht, and you will pursue the enemy. Explore his march, instruct me respecting his manoeuvres, so that I may be able to penetrate what he is intending to do. It is important to penetrate what the enemy is intending to do, whether they are separating themselves from the English, or whether they are intending to still to unite to cover Brussels or Liège. In trying the fate of another battle, in all cases, keep constantly your 2 corps of infantry united in a league of ground, and occupy every evening a good military position, having several avenues of retreat, possible intermediate detachments of cavalry, so as to communicate with headquarters." And that's the sort of message that Grouchy's got. It's kind of like I mean, you can sense there as well that he doesn't expect it's going to be a long campaign. I think what happens is I just think that Napoleon is wanting the best of both, wanting his cake and eating it. He wants to know where the Prussians are going, but he also wants the Grouchy to be close to him. So, and the way he talks as if it's not going to be a fight the next day. You know, it seems like it's going to be a rolling campaign. It doesn't seem to be it seems to me that when we get to somewhere like Waterloo and that the Wellington stands there, is it really necessary for Napoleon to attack? He could have waited. Wouldn't it need to have attacked on the 18th? Could have waited, sent an order to Grouchy to come and support him. Maybe he was still worried about the Prussians joining up. Anyway, around about this time, after these orders are sent out, I think maybe Napoleon realizes that he's dithered too long, and he basically comes out of his trance and gets going. He sends off now, and this is Lebau. He sends off Lebau's corps to attack the British left flank at Quatre Bras, and he orders Drouot and the Imperial Guard to follow him. So he's decided then that 33,000 troops of Grouchy should be enough to press the Prussians back. Presumably he's thinking like, keep the Prussians on your right hand side, stay I'm on your left. Lebau and the Imperial Guard are sent to attack Quatre Bras from this direction here. So, let's do a bit of flying. So, in summary, then, Napoleon definitely is ordering Grouchy up to Gembloux, check things out there, and keep them basically informed, and keep the Prussians, chase them, but keep them away from the British, and keep Napoleon informed about it. I think the mistake that Grouchy has done, though, is to move that extra move east from Gembloux. I think once you know that the army of the Prussians have split, your main concern then is you don't need to be concerned with the troops moving to Namur. You just want to be concerned with the troops moving to Wavre. Our friend Captain Merceau in the Royal Horse Artillery, he reports at 1 o'clock in the afternoon that the French are still not advanced, that their campfires indicated they were still cooking, and that this allowed Wellington to leave unmolested. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, this is from Lieutenant Ingleby. He's a member of the Royal Horse Artillery. He reports that the climate becomes intolerably hot, and you basically get this sort of closeness. The clouds start to darken, and he says at the same time, and this is almost like it is now, you've got these darkening clouds, He says that a large cloud of dust could be seen rising, which showed that a large body of cavalry were coming up to reinforce the French, and they came from a direction on the right of the enemy. So he's basically describing either Lebaul's corps, the cavalry elements of his corps arriving from the east here, or the Imperial Guard cavalry coming this way. Now, Napoleon reaches up to this point here around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he is amazed to find that Ney has done nothing. And Ney offers the excuse to Napoleon to say that he thought that the whole of Wellington's army was in front of him, but he had basically fallen for the Wellington's tricks of showing his army and then retiring them, and he hadn't actually sent forward any reports. Later on in St. Helena, Napoleon would remark that Ney, he thought Ney was no longer the man he used to be, and he had found out basically about Wellington's retreat from a cavalry reconnaissance that he himself had sent out earlier in the day from Fleurius, and not from Ney himself. Vivian, Major General Hussey Vivian, he was the guy in charge of the 6th Light Cavalry Brigade. He wrote a letter to his wife on the 23rd of June 1815, and he says at the time, we remained quietly on the ground, covering the retreat on the left until about 2 o'clock, when immediately on my left I observed the great dust, and by looking a little nearer I discovered an enormous column of cuirassiers, lancers, hussars, etc., moving over a hill into the high road, which was my flank. So let's see if we can imagine where that would be. I've flown over this place so many times, I still find it difficult to find the battlefield. Turn around. Here we go. So we're trying to find where Major General Sir Hussey Vivian would have made this comment. So he starts off, we remained quietly on the ground. So presumably when he means the ground, he means the battlefield, covering the retreat on the left. So I would suggest that he's somewhere on this road here. I think he's probably maybe down here, possibly in this place here. He says then he looks I mean, he's covering the. If you look right here, you're looking towards the French of Ney, and then he says on his left, he observes a great dust coming probably down this road, and he says, looking nearer, he sees cuirassiers, lancers, hussars, and he says, moving over a hill into the high road which was on my flank. So, I mean, this is a hill on his flank, coming from Bray. So we could suggest that he's talking possibly about this section here. And Napoleon comes across. He says that when he gets up to here, he essentially finds just the rear guard. So that's likely to be Hussey Vivian's 6th Light Cavalry Brigade. And it's believed here, I mean, you have to put sometimes these things a little bit of pinch and salt, but he's believed to have said here that France has been ruined. Go, my dear general, place yourself at the head of the cavalry and press the rear guard vigorously. So he's he says that to d'Erlon as well. So he's come up here. He's found that there's only a rear guard, and he's probably in contact with the Ney by now. And he says to d'Erlon, "Send your cavalry, press the rear guard vigorously." Tells it's believed he's just angry with Ney at the moment, and he says to him, follow him, and he takes a horse battery with him and rides to the head of the column in pursuit of the British, and they call it something like a steeplechase. Now, I believe a lot of this pursuit is happening across these fields as well. I'm not sure that this is here. This whole village wasn't there. Some of the buildings that were there was this one. This one was the farmhouse on the cross. So they might have been streaming across this way. Mercer describes them having to beat a skillful retreat and pausing at every opportunity to launch counter-attacks. And he's talking about the French French squadrons. So they're getting pursued back this way and having to unlimber every now and then, fire a shot and push them back again. Now, this is when the weather starts to take an important role in the retreat. We hear about a huge thunderstorm at this time. It's probably around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And what this does, it basically denies the French the ability to outmaneuver the British by going cross-country. And they have to limit their movement along the chaussee, as they call it, the road. Now, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Grouchy will send his message to Napoleon that he's reached Gembloux. Napoleon won't actually receive that until 2 a.m. On the 18th, in the morning of the 18th. So to get your head around this, then in the evening, so he gets the Jean Blow. He's telling him he's going to be going to that crossroads at Saint-Wellington, which he will be at, and Napoleon receives that information at around about 2 a.m. So that's quite a slow delivery of a message, but so we know then at 2 o'clock in the morning on the 18th, and Napoleon is probably up here at the battlefield of Place Nord, and he now knows at 2 a.m. that the likelihood is that Grouchy is here at Sarzley-Wellington. So who's at fault here the next day? That seems like a long distance to hope for support the next day. You can assume, well, you don't even know that, but you assume that Grouchy will move north following the Prussians. You would definitely want to be sending a message out to Grouchy saying, okay, I know you're where you are, but please come to Louvain, Leneuve, and possibly cut through these valleys here, and at least get yourself at a place like Bourgeois, Rixensart, this sort of area here, to deny the Prussians getting there. Does he do that? Well, we'll find out. But that's what you would expect to do once you heard that information. Right. Well, we wanted to do the retreat, and I've been streaming here today now for about 2 hours, so I think I'm going to finish for the day today. And so we've got to the point literally where the French are, or Napoleon himself has had to come to Quatre Bras to find out that the British are not there, and that he's now pressing the British back. So in the next stream, which will probably be tomorrow, I will continue the story as Napoleon's army pushes up this road north, and we'll conclude the 17th of June, hopefully, in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you have questions, and if you do, pop them in the comments, and we'll look into it. If you've got any requests, then please let me know. We will be streaming tomorrow. We'll be on Twitch and YouTube. The videos will be going up on YouTube, and any chance of a like or a follow would be great. We're a small channel growing, and we will carry on chatting about history. Please do join in. Hopefully when more people join in, I won't have to just ramble on forever. But this is what we will be doing as a channel. We're going to be looking at different parts of history and checking out what they look like from the ground in detail, as you can tell. Ideas that I've got for subjects at the moment will be the Falklands War. We'll be looking at Operation Market Garden, Dunkirk, Barbarossa. I'm thinking possibly Anglo-Zulu War, English Civil War, American Civil War. Maybe do some Vietnam, and all the other bits and bobs. But if you have any suggestions, then put it in the comments below. Okay, I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next stream. Thank you.